The human eye is a miracle of biological engineering. It is basically the organic equivalent of a camera. The human eye is a roughly spherical structure of diameter 2.3 centimeters, and the outer membrane of this structure is a transparent medium called the cornea. The cornea is composed of an extremely transparent protein and has a highly curved surface, which allows it to refract and focus light into the inside of the eye. Inside the cornea, there is a structure called the lens, also composed of a transparent proteinaceous material. The thickness of the lens is controlled by highly specialized muscles called ciliary muscles, which can change the thickness and curvature of this lens. Together with the cornea, the lens focuses the incoming light onto a highly sensitive layer of specialized neurons coming from the brain, and this layer of neurons is known as the retina. The retina is composed of two types of cells. Based on their shape, they are called rods and cones. The rods are sensitive to the level of light, the brightness of light, while the cones give us the color sensitivity. The human eye contains three types of cone cells, sensitive to red color, green color and blue color. And this is the reason why we say that red, green and blue are the primary colors for humans. Remember, the definition of primary color will change according to each creature, because other animals are sensitive to different types of colors. The human eye can focus light coming from a large distance or a small one by using these ciliary muscles to change the curvature of the lens. Remember, most of the focusing is already done by the cornea. The lens can only make small but very precise adjustments to ensure that a sharp image falls on the retina. Since the lens is a convex lens, we understand that the image being formed on the retina is inverted. And here it is important to understand that we don't really see with our eyes, we see with our brain. The visual information has to be processed in the occipital lobe of the brain, where we invert the image again to see the world right side up. The amount of light falling in the retina is controlled by a structure known as the pupil. The pupil has a lining of dark muscles which can stretch open the opening or close it down depending on the amount of light. If you get out at night, the pupil will open wide to allow the maximum possible light to fall onto the retina. On the other hand, if you step out midday, to prevent damage to the eye, the pupil will automatically close to a much smaller opening or aperture, limiting the amount of light that can enter the eye. So in this way, the eye can adapt both to low light and high light conditions. Power of accommodation. The human eye contains a lens. The ability to focus an image depends on the curvature of this lens. The lens is normally stretched thin when the ciliary muscles are in a relaxed state. When the ciliary muscles contract, they increase the thickness of the lens and in effect decrease the focal length of the lens. So, our eyes feel more relaxed when they focus on distant objects. You can try this yourself. Place your hand at arm's length and slowly bring it closer to your eye. You will notice that as your hand comes closer and closer, it requires more conscious effort to keep this image in focus. The reason for this is that there is a limit to how much the ciliary muscles can alter the curvature of the lens. And beyond a particular point, where no further curvature is possible, the image becomes blurred. The minimum distance at which you can see an object sharply determines the power of accommodation of your eye. As we age, the ciliary muscles become progressively weaker, and as a result, our power of accommodation reduces and the minimum distance at which you can see an image sharply increases.